What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Today is Wednesday, August 24th. It's day 50 inside the Big Brother house. And after days of not having updates from the backyard, just little peeks in every so often on the live feeds, we finally have a lot more information about what's been going on in the Dyre Fest outside. It was all down to wall yellers, potentially a lot of drones kept coming in. They've added a tarp kind of roof over the backyard now to kind of prevent that. It sounds like they were never moved out of the backyard, and what they did was they gave them headphones to drown out wall yellers and things like that. Which, I mean, you could cheat, right? Like, think about it. If you were a house guest in the backyard and they said, yeah, listen, there's wall yellers, we don't want you listening. Okay, I'll turn the volume down so I could still kind of hear it. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they didn't have control of the volume. I don't know, but that was apparently what they did to combat that. So now that things have kind of died down, they have brought the feeds back up, but they still go down fairly often. We're not getting, huge access into it. And same thing with the indoor. They go down every so often with the "we'll be right back" kind of fish screen. Still to this day, I call it the fish screen, even though they haven't used fish in I don't know how many seasons. But yeah, we're not getting 100% access in, but we do know a lot. So the rumors were true. Terrance used the veto on Turner, and now Kyle is nominated. So it's Kyle and Joseph who are up for eviction. It sounds like at some point, Joseph and Turner were both informed that the leftovers were exposed, but we're not 100% sure how that happened. Did Kyle tell them that they were exposed? Did Terrance mention it in the nomination ceremony when he used the veto? Like, we don't know all of that. It could have been at any point, but I'm sure we'll probably see some of that on tonight's episode, which we'll get to see the veto competitions and the everything that would go along with all that. So the ceremonies and how things changed and planned. So we'll get a lot of the stuff we missed that we can fill in the gaps from the episode tonight. But again, it's not going to be everything because they only show us what they want to show us. But yeah, we did miss a lot of that kind of stuff. But it is a little bit hard to tell. It seems like Joseph will be leaving and be going to jury. But there's still a few question marks. Probably the biggest question mark for me is, where does Turner stand? But before we get to that, I think it's more important to talk about Terrance. I feel like even if it's a tie and Turner votes out Kyle, Alyssa votes out Joseph, I feel like Terrance will still vote out Joseph and break the tie and send him to jury. But there is room and a little bit of evidence to say that he's not 100% decided. So Joseph did have a talk with him where he kind of made his pitch. He's like, look, I'm going to blow up this house. It'll keep us both safe. Like, once we come back together, like, I'm done with them. He's been talking to actually everyone, Kyle, Alyssa included, and Turner when they're in the hot tub later on. They were just kind of spilling everything. He was throwing Michael and Brittany under the bus, saying how Michael and Brittany and Taylor are real close. But again, these are all just things to try and save himself this week. Like, he's trying to throw everything at the wall to see if it sticks because he needs it. He needs a full miracle in order for us to go. So by him doing it here outside, he's hopefully showing to Terrance, like, hey, like, I'm over them. Like, they sent me here. Michael made the decision to take Monte over myself so that Kyle and me would be in danger from you. Like that, I'm done. So what he's saying, it makes sense. It's a good argument. I just don't know if Terrance is believing it. As soon as Terrance was done with Joseph and they had that little one-on-one where he was like, look, I'm going to blow everything up. Like, I'm cool with it. He did look at a picture of his wife and he was like, oh, I need your help. So, like, it made it seem like, hey, maybe he was struggling with the decision on who he should believe more, Kyle or Joseph, going forward. Especially because if you really think about it, if Joseph was being truthful, which I'm not 100% sure he was being truthful there, I think he's just trying to save his own butt. But if he was being truthful and you believed him, and you believe that both him and Kyle are done with the other side when you go back, well, Joseph doesn't have a showmance that he's connected with. That's going to be someone that you could potentially be closer with than to Kyle. So it's really a tough decision for him, and it comes down to who he believes more, Kyle or Joseph. So that's how the tie would work out. Before we would even get to a tie, though, Turner would have to vote Kyle out. And I'm not 100% sure right now where Turner is going to fall. Everything that we had leading up to this week, Turner was all about being loyal to the leftovers and to more extent the pound, the four, Joseph, Kyle, and Monte, including Turner himself. And I just don't know how he's going to feel about the leftovers being exposed. Will he blame Kyle for that, or is somehow did they blame it on Joseph? I'm not sure because we didn't see, so I don't know how he's really feeling about it. Now, when he's with Kyle and Alyssa and Terrance, because after Joseph, I told you he was having that little hot tub meeting where he was kind of throwing everybody under the bus, just trying to save himself with Alyssa and Kyle and Turner. He was called to the DR, and that gave us the four alone without Joseph. So they actually got to talk and they were like, yeah, he was throwing everybody in the bus. I don't buy it, whatever. And Turner was, including himself in that. But basically when he would include himself, Alyssa would say something like, oh, it's a bunch of BS. And he would just be like, yeah, total BS. So it wasn't like he was saying it. He was more just kind of like repeating and going along with what everybody was saying, which is kind of what he does when he lies. Right? Like, if you go back and you think about how Turner was acting with Terrance back when Terrance was like, yeah, we need to get Monte out. Like, we're going to keep the nominations the same. It's going to be me, Joseph, and Monte on the block. And he was like, yo, like, that's fire, man. Like, that sounds like a great move. Like, I'm with you. Like, he'll just, like, repeat and affirm what you're saying to him. And then later on, he would go tell the leftovers and be like, you won't believe what Terrance just said to me. And it almost feels like a little bit of like the fire is taken out of Turner right now. So I don't know where he will land. Right? We could see the house come back together. Kyle win HOH, and he's like, well, I have no choice. I have to go with Kyle. That could just be how it is. Or maybe they come back together and he spills everything that happened in the backyard. Because here's the next part. So Joseph was taken to the DR. He was sent away, so we just had the other four in the Dyre Fest left alone, and they were like, yeah, he's spilling everybody into the bus. What do we do when we go back inside? How do we tell them? We all have to be on the same page because they're going to be curious about what happened. Do we play it like, yeah, the leftovers out in the open, or do we hide that? And they all were kind of like, yeah, well, why tell them? They're not going to know. We don't even have to tell them that Turner was on the block at all. We tell them Terrance put up Joseph and Kyle. He won Veto. He had all the power, and the week just sucked. There was nothing they could do. Like, we tried to get Alyssa up there, but there was nothing we could do. You could also even say, hey, he put Kyle and Joseph up, and Alyssa won Veto. And then Alyssa chose not to use it because she didn't want Turner up there or something. So, like, they're just going to lie about the whole situation. Thinking now, like, as they were talking about that second one, doesn't really make a lot of sense, because if Alyssa won Veto, she would have taken Kyle down. So maybe they'll say that, like, oh yeah, and then it was Turner and Joseph up on the block at the end. I don't know. They're going to lie. They're going to lie. But here's where we will finally be able to tell which side Turner is actually on. Thursday night, when the feeds come back on after the eviction episode, will Turner tell them everything that happened outside? Because if he even tells one person, that means he's not with them. That means he is back on board with, like, screw them. They blew everything up. Kyle, we could have gotten rid of Alyssa. If you would have stuck to the plan and stuck with us, we could have gotten rid of her. But again, I don't know. Because there's so much that has happened in that backyard we didn't get to see. So much interactions and development that we just don't know where everybody's true loyalties will lie. This week is going to be huge. This upcoming HOH is going to be the biggest HOH of the season. It's going to set the table and set the tone for the rest of the season going forward. And it's a big one. It's a big one. So meanwhile, that covers kind of what's been going on in Dyre Fest. Inside, kind of status quo. It's like the exact opposite. Outside, everybody's throwing each other under the bus. The leftovers are out in the open. Joseph kind of knows he's going home, but he's trying everything he can to stay. Inside, it's peaceful. They're relaxing. They're napping. They're talking about some scenarios on how things could work out, what they could do. What does it look like when they come back inside and everybody comes together? But for the most part, it's peaceful. The leftovers are still a secret. They haven't told Jasmine that she's going just yet. They'll probably do that today or even maybe just on Thursday morning. Who knows? But it's very much like a tale of two houses. There's the outside and the inside. One is in a little bit of chaos. One is just, everything's fine. I do think, again, this upcoming week's HOH is key. It's crucial. In fact, if we pull up the alliance chart, which at this point really still kind of stands as it shows what things would be like if Joseph and Jasmine are evicted. And that's still how I kind of see things going from here. And it seems like it's going to be split 4-4, but Turner is very much that swing. If Turner goes with the leftovers, well, Kyle, Alyssa, and Terrance, you're done for. If he goes with Kyle, Alyssa, and Terrance, it's gonna be a lot more interesting. But I think if I was Turner, right, this is usually how I try and think of like, all right, what do I think the best strategy is? I try and put myself into the player's shoes, and if I'm Turner, I sit back, I relax, I let them fight. Kyle is going to be going after Monte. Monte's going after Kyle. I would throw I'd throw this HOH. I'd throw this HOH so hard. Like, I don't want to touch that key at all. Like, not even second place. I want to be the first one out. If I'm Turner, not a chance do I want to win this HOH. You want to let them fight it out, because then you can just kind of sit back and watch it all play out and decide who do you want to be more loyal to. That would be me. It's gonna be a crucial week. I think a lot of the things that we have going on are all going to be reshuffled and reestablished. I feel like the outsiders thing will be something that Kyle maybe tries to use to get along with Michael and Brittany, but it seems like the plan would be, if Kyle wins HOH or if Alyssa or Terrance win HOH, they would, well, Terrance can't win HOH. If Kyle or Alyssa wins HOH and they think they have Turner in there too, they would nominate Michael, or they would nominate Monte and Taylor, and then have the back door be Michael. Not a bad plan. I'm going to be honest. If you're coming back in the house, that's what you would want to do, right? You would want to try and get rid of the biggest threat that's in there. And Michael and Monte seem like two pretty good threats that you would want to get out, right? There would be people that would do very well with the jury. There've been people who have won competitions, especially Michael's won a lot of competitions. And you want to try and get Michael out while you could backdoor him before Final Six, where everybody plays for Veto. So you really only have this week and next week coming up to get him. I say this week, we're still in a week, but you know what I mean. So you really only have those two shots to possibly have a chance where he doesn't even play on Veto. So it's going to be tough to actually get him out as long as he's able to compete in those comps and give them the best he has. He could win them because he's shown he's already won a lot of them already. He's, I believe, tied the record now for most competition wins in a season, or if not, he is one shy. So he just needs 2 to break the record. So it's looking like he's going to be someone who has to watch out, especially if one of the other side win HOH. Now, if Monte would win HOH, if Taylor would win HOH, or even Brittany, they're very much looking at, putting one of themselves up as a pawn, probably Kyle and putting Terrance up next to him, and then sending Terrance home. So, like, they're still thinking about, leftover strong, 7 strong. That doesn't take into account that Joseph won't be there. Because the way they're thinking is, well, it's probably going to be Alyssa. So when everybody comes on back, we'll have 7 plus Terrance. So we could just get rid of Terrance and everything will be fine. But if Joseph's gone, that's going to completely change everything. I would see if any of them win HOH, it will be Kyle and Alyssa. Especially if Brittany won. I think she would want to take the shot at Kyle and Alyssa over taking the shot on Terrance, because I feel like they want to take Terrance as far as they can now at this point. I feel like a lot of them are like, listen, let's take Terrance along pretty far. But he's now shown he can win some vetoes on his own too. So it's always tough. It's always a tough call. But that being said, there was a lot that we got to unpack yesterday. So finally, we were actually getting some good info and some good intel on what's been going on in the backyard. And it's all going to come down to HOH on Thursday night. Who will win? Who will be able to set the tone going forward? It's going to be a big, interesting week coming up. Luckily, it is going to be a big, interesting week because we were so excited about this week, and then it kind of fell flat with the twist and how everything happened. It's not necessarily even the twist's fault. It's how it was executed. I still am very much a fan of what the twist was trying to accomplish and trying to do. I think everything about the twist's concept is good. It just execution-wise needs to be changed up. I'd rather see 2 competitions to choose the HOHs. I'd rather it be like a random draw, so then that way it's like, hey, you can win to guarantee your safety, but otherwise it's in the hand of luck. And so much of this game in Big Brother is about luck. I don't think a lot of people really consider that very often, but it is. So many times one thing could have changed in the entire game and somebody else completely different wins. So I think that would be a much better way to have this twist play out. I don't think it's something that should happen every year. I think it should be thrown in there as like, oh shit, kind of a thing, and something you can always have to try and plan for, but you can never 100% have a solid plan if it's random. That's the other problem I think with a twist, the fact that they were able to choose their teams going forward. If you have a big alliance, you could start planning it out. Okay, here's what we're going to do. When that twist happens and they split up the house, where you're going to have, so-and-so, you're going to pick these people, you're going to pick these people, and then that way we have the numbers no matter what, and we have targets no matter what. So yeah, it just is something that can be gamified, and then going forward, it wouldn't be as effective as it is right now. Because the only reason it is actually even working is mainly because Michael didn't take Kyle or Alyssa. If he would have taken just one of them, just one, I think the other leaves, right? I think one of them is guaranteed to leave if you just took one of them. But again, who knows? We'll see. We'll see how everything plays out going forward. But what do you guys think? Are you happy to finally have at least some backyard feeds going on? What do you think of how everything turned out with Joseph now being on the block with Kyle? Do you think he has a shot to stay? Again, I think it all comes down to whether or not Terrance would break up that tie if it came down to that. And what do you think about going forward with how things are going to play out next week, depending on who wins HOH? Where do you think Turner is eventually going to lie? Because like I said, it right now seems like he's fully in with Kyle, Alyssa, and Terrance. But there's nowhere for him to go and talk, right? Even if he wanted to go with Joseph and go in the corner and be like, listen, man, like I gotta work with them. Like there's nothing I can do. Like I'm going to have to like say things, but like we have no way of knowing because there's no privacy in the backyard at all. Like you can't really sneak off and have a private conversation with anybody. And other than Joseph, there's no one in the backyard he would have that conversation with, right? If he could talk to Brittany, if he could talk to Taylor, maybe we'd be able to get a better insight on where his head's at. But right now, there's no one else for him to actually talk to get a good idea of where he's actually leaning. So let me know in those comments down below. What do you think? Will he side with the rest of the former leftovers, or will he go with the convenience store that's under new management. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Also, if you are new here and you made it all the way to the end of this video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video, you never miss a stream. We do have an episode tonight. It'll be the Veto episode. We'll see the Veto ceremony. Hopefully we'll fill in some gaps from what we missed on the live feeds. And then tomorrow we will have the live eviction. Will be live right here on the channel, doing a watch along for that. So make sure you're here for that as well. Links to all my socials are down in the description as well. You can follow me on Twitter, on Twitch, which I keep saying I got to get back up and going, but then I keep slacking on it. Force me in the comments down below. Be like, Ori, when are you streaming on Twitch? When are you doing it, Ori? Because then if you guys do it and it pushes me, like I'm accountable. Does that make sense? I don't know. Am I using you guys as like an accountability buddy? Is that what's happening now? Maybe I am. But you can follow all those stuff down below. We have our Discord down there as well, which, by the way, we did have a birthday today. It was Belle's birthday. Belle, this is your birthday song. It isn't very long. I hope you had a great day, Belle. So yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support that you've shown over the past few weeks, and I will see you tomorrow.